Wow. Can we have a redo of the primary for our next president, please? Because these two blibbering idiots. I thought exactly. I thought it would go exactly how it did. And nobody looked good. Both old. One's a criminal, one's senile. That's my thoughts. But I'm not going to say anything more about politics here. We're talking Michigan athletics and the University of Michigan athletics. And it wasn't the 13 or 14 championships like the last few years for the University of Michigan and the Big 10, but Michigan still led the Big 10 with 8 titles this cycle. These are champions in sports that Michigan plays. So 27 sports that Michigan partakes in, 14 in the women's side, one more than the men's, Title IX, and women's, ice hockey. We're not a part of that, but I know that other teams are, so that is not a part of this. It's the championships that we participate in here in the Big Ten coming up. And in the men's side, baseball. In the regular season, Illinois won the Big Ten in the regular season. In the tournament, Nebraska won. Michigan lost in the championship game to Nebraska, but they are on the rise, Michigan baseball, under the new head coach. I believe it'll be his second year coming up. So, basketball, regular season, Purdue won the chip, and in the tournament, Illinois won. Michigan was 8-24 in basketball, but we have new head coach Dusty May, who has set the course straight up with the new additions to his staff and the new additions to his roster. I can't wait to see what this team can do going forward. Cross country, MSU won that. Michigan was second to MSU in the Big Ten in cross country. Now football, where Michigan won their third straight Big Ten title. That's right, let's go. But not only that, football won the Rose Bowl and were national champs as well, going 15-0 for the season. Gymnastics, Michigan is normally really great at gymnastics in both men's and women's. We're going to talk about women's here later in the video. Gymnastics for the men's, they went 24-4. They were national runner-up at the NCAA final. They were the Big Ten champs. Ice hockey. All right, regular season, Michigan State won. In the tournament, Michigan State won over Michigan in that championship game, but Michigan got revenge over little brother in the Sweet 16, or the Elite 8, and went to the Frozen Four instead of Michigan State, but we didn't have Adam Fantilli anymore, and that, I believe, we'll see who gets drafted for Michigan in the ice hockey this weekend. So we'll know more about who's coming back and how good that team's going to be next season. But they were coming off 2 Big Ten titles in a row before Michigan State took it from us too early, in my opinion, under year 1, I think, under their coach. So anyway, gymnastics. We already did that. Lacrosse. In the regular season, Johns Hopkins University won the regular season in Big Ten lacrosse. And in the tournament, Michigan won. It was 10-7 record for the University of Michigan this season, so no national expectation there, but won the Big Ten tournament. So A lot to improve on here through these sports. Soccer. In the regular season, Indiana and Penn State tied. And then in the tourney, Indiana won. Michigan was 5, 6, and 7 ties. So if we can get them ties to be wins here going forward, we'll be pretty darn good. Swimming and diving. Indiana won that. Michigan placed 3rd in the Big Ten and 14th nationally. Normally, we're pretty good at that. A lot of water surrounding us. Tennis. Regular season, Ohio State won, and in the tournament, Ohio State won. Michigan was 17 and 13 in tennis. Like I said, room to improve. Track and field, and outdoor track and field, Nebraska won, and indoor track and field, Wisconsin won the Big Ten. Michigan was 4th and 8th in both respective fields. Wrestling. Well, Penn State won the Big Ten in wrestling. Michigan was 8 and 4 in the season, 2nd in the Big Ten, and 3rd nationally for the Michigan wrestling team. Always a great program there. And then golf. These were all in alphabetical order, but I forgot golf. But Northwestern won that, and Michigan was 10th. A lot of room to improve, and we have all these great golf courses. Why aren't we better in that sport? So there's a lot of improvement that can be made in the men's sports. So here we go. Let's talk women's, and then I'll tell you who had the most behind Michigan in Big Ten titles. So here we go. Women's basketball. In the regular season, Ohio State won the Big Ten women's basketball regular season. And then Iowa won the tournament, of course, with Caitlin Clark. Michigan was 20 and 14, which is pretty good, but not good enough. All right, cross country. But women's sports actually had more titles than the men. I believe they had 5, and the men had 3. So cross country, Michigan State won that. Michigan was 3rd in the Big Ten in cross country. Field hockey in the regular season, Northwestern won the regular season and the tournament. Michigan was 9 and 8 in field hockey. Golf, Indiana won the Big Ten title. Michigan was 4th in the Big Ten. Gymnastics, Michigan State won that in the women's side. Michigan was 18 and 10 and 3rd in the Big Ten, so it was a bit of a dip. We're used to 13 and 14 Big Ten titles here at Michigan, and some other people are stepping up. Maybe it has something to do with NIL, and I hope that we don't give all our, for football. It seems like we already sacrificed all these other sports for us winning the title in football, right? But I hope they don't give all the money to football, because we need to be great in every frickin' sport, everything we do. So, gymnastics, Michigan State won. Lacrosse, in the regular season and in the tournament, Northwestern won. Michigan was 16 and 4. So they were pretty damn good in lacrosse, women's lacrosse. They beat number 4 Notre Dame in the NCAA tournament, but lost to number 2 Boston College. Pretty good season for them. Rowing, Michigan won the Big Ten. Michigan was 7th nationally in rowing. In soccer, the regular season went to Nebraska, but in the tournament it went to Iowa. Michigan was 7, 7, and 4 in women's soccer. In softball, the regular season went to Northwestern. Barely. They had a sweep on us. If we could have got 1 or 2 games on them, we could have tied there. But in the tournament, Michigan won. And I was so excited going into that because they won like 17 of 18 games or something crazy. Can't remember the actual statistics, but they were on a tear. Michigan ended up 43 and 18. But like I said, most of those in the back half of the season. But they lost to Oklahoma State in the NCAA tournament. Just too many errors. Too many errors by us and not enough hitting. But at least we made it back to the NCAA tournament and won a Big Ten title because softball owns the Big Ten through history. In swimming and diving, Indiana won that one. Michigan was third in the Big Ten and 12th nationally in swimming and diving and women's sports. Tennis, women's tennis. Michigan won the regular season and the tournament. Michigan was 29-4 and lost in the NCAA team championship meet. Just that close. Runner-ups were chock full of them throughout history, but that will not deter us. We will keep going. Track and field for the women. Outdoor went to Illinois. Indoor went to Minnesota for Big Ten titles. Michigan was 6th and 5th in those respective fields of 13 teams in that field. Now they, like I said, they waver in how many teams are in each sport. Like we don't have a women's ice hockey team. We don't have a men's water polo team. I think we probably ought to do both of those going forward. I think we should. We have the capability. We can do that. Volleyball. Nebraska won the Big Ten in volleyball, women's volleyball. Michigan was 7-22, so not so good. They had a couple good seasons there the last couple of years, but way down here. And then water polo, Michigan won the tournament. Michigan was 21-11 this past season. Did not win anything in the national category. So, in total, Michigan had 8 Big Ten titles this season. Northwestern had 6. MSU and Indiana had 5. Nebraska had 4. Ohio State and Illinois had 3. Iowa and Penn State had 2. Wisconsin, Minnesota, Purdue, and Johns Hopkins had 1 each. And these are just the ones that Michigan participated in. Like I said, I want to be clear about that. So Michigan is still on top. But certain programs need to step up again. Get back to where they were. Like I said, I think last year was 14 Big Ten titles. The year before was 13. Almost half or more of what we participated. Now we dipped a little bit. Let's get back on top, baby. We're not going to win the Capital Cup this year. The only national program we had basically that won it was football. So everyone needs to step up, including football, if they want to win the Big Ten again next season. So there we go. Michigan's still on top, baby. Let's go. Have a great day, everybody out there. No matter what way you go politically, we all need to come together and figure this out. These two guys are not the answer, neither one of them. Can we redo the primary? Please? For the country's sake. Anyway, sorry to bring in politics into this channel. It won't happen again, but I watched the debate and it went exactly how I thought it would. So, go blue, though. If you take anything out of that, go blue.